Within the TouchChat communication files, you may find a vocabulary file. It's called NCMEC First Responder Event. Now, TouchChat has worked with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to create pages that our students can use in the case of an emergency. And these pages are also shared with the first responders so that they become familiar with how our students communicate. Within this vocabulary file, there are a few pages that our students should become familiar with. Before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about why this was created. And now Sotelo has worked with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children so that our students are familiar with first responders and are able to interact with them in case of an emergency. So this is just a little bit about the foundation of why this was created, and this is a little bit about an event that as educators we can sponsor just so that our students can become familiar with first responders. Now, within this page set, there are vocabulary strips that help to familiarize our students with the objects and items that they might see at a first responder event or in case of an emergency. This is just some language just to familiarize the student. In addition, there is additional language. There's a sensory communication board. This is something that could be pulled up in case of emergency, and so that our students could quickly and effectively communicate with the first responder in case of emergency. There's also sensory scales. There's a social narrative, which I really like because this talks a little bit about how first responders are here to help and a little bit about what a student may see in the event that they have to interact with a first responder. There's a basic communication board. And there's also an I need. And this board helps the students, again, quickly communicate if they need something immediately without having to go into their communication system. The reality is that if a first responder does interact with one of our students, they may not be familiar with their vocabulary and they may not be able to find the vocabulary that student needs. By having this vocabulary file on the student's TouchChat, a first responder would be able to find that, quickly open it up, and access any information or any vocabulary they need to communicate with our students with special needs.